This video is basically an entire week of sourcing for me. So I'm a part-time eBay seller and I try to go to as many estate sales and thrift stores that I can during the week. I don't have a standard 9 to 5, so I'm free to go during the day, which is usually when I find the best items. So when I turn right here, I see this Cutco block and it's priced at $150, and the price kind of shocks me at first. But then I come back to it and I pull each knife out, look them all up individually, and I realize that even at $150, there still is money to be made. Now, other than the steak knives, Cutco knives are easy to spot because they all have those 3 little rivets there and the shape of the handle. So the steak knives won't have the rivets, but they're all gonna have this different shaped handle. And they also come in white. This is considered brown, even though I always thought this was black. Growing up, we had these knives, and I always assumed that they were black knives. Now, what sealed the deal for me is when I looked up the steak knives, they were selling for between $150 and $175 for a set of 6. Mine sold pretty quickly for $150 plus shipping. So there's like 20 of these listed. Only 3 have sold, but only 1 is just like this. So I don't think I'm going to pick it up because the sell-through rate is just a little too bad. This was a really small family-run estate sale, so the prices weren't too bad. I know when I posted that Cutco block on my Facebook, a lot of people thought that that was priced really high, but that block brand new with all of those knives is probably around $600. So that was honestly a really great deal. Anything tiki, I always look it up. This is an ashtray and there's a bonus cigarette still inside for you. That was only $10 and it sold at auction last for $30. I went ahead and picked that one up. I have it listed for $59.99 or best offer. Things always sell better when you do buy it now or best offer. Most items are going to sell for less every single time at auction unless it's a really rare item with a really high demand. I don't know why I do this. I know I can't be the only one, but sometimes I will look something up even though I know more than likely it's not going to be worth anything. So I looked up this snow globe and of course it was not worth anything. There were so many of these listed. Not too many had sold either. Okay, you guys, I can't find any that are sold on eBay. There are some listed, but they're not complete. This is only $20. I think I'm going to grab it, do a little bit more research, but I think I'm going to end up buying this. It looks like it has the original price tag in there. It looks like it's never been used. So I think I'm going to get it. I got to see what this is. They want $50 for it. And that was an entire day of sourcing. It was not the best week for me at all. Little did I know I was just being tested because this past week was absolutely amazing outsourcing. So this is the next day. This is estate sale stop number 1. And this company, basically, they don't do any setup. They just open the doors and tell you to dig through, make a pile, and they give you a price. I go to this company's sale quite often. I'd say at least twice a month. This is out of town for me. This is not near my home, and they do not do sales near my home for the most part. So I do like to go to their sales just because I know that they're going to give a good price. And the fact that they don't go through anything inside the house. So everything, all the cleaners are still there. Anything inside the bathroom is still there. Now, unfortunately, at this house, all I bought was a small little candle. But I figured I'd take you guys through anyways. I know you guys have commented that you still like to see the setup, what's for sale, and prices, things like that. So I went ahead and left all of these clips in this video. That couch reminded me of Ralph Lauren Cosette. I'll throw up a comp for you guys what Ralph Lauren Cosette sells for. Usually if I find Cosette, I'm finding a comforter. So the sheets are super, super hard to find, but that's like a top Ralph Lauren pattern that I always look for. Now, I used replacements.com to look these up. Once I get a pattern name and a brand, I plug that information into eBay, and then I'll check the solds and see what I'm working with, see if it's something I want to pick up or something I pass on. And I passed on both of those. They just have the serving utensils. And I was so excited to see the bathroom was open, but it looked like they had already cleared everything out. This company is really popular because of the way that they set up their sales, and it looks like they must have had a really big crowd this morning because this house is pretty wiped out. So when I see this bag, I'm hoping I'm going to find some either 1980s or 1970s/60s Barbie clothing, but these look like they're for larger dolls. Now, I get a little excited because I see a pattern that looks familiar, but once I pull it out, it's not what I think it is. So these are definitely all for larger dolls, which would make sense because there's nothing but larger dolls in this room. As soon as I walk into this room, the first thing I see are those cleaners, but I can tell right away that they aren't anything that's discontinued. Those are all items that I see on the shelf when I go to the grocery store, and usually I'm looking for items that I've never seen before or that I haven't seen in a very long time. I get excited when I see the Estee Lauder box, but it looks like they must have stored something else in there. I was hoping it would be some of their solid perfumes. They come in these really beautiful containers, and some of them are worth some really good money, but that was not what was in there. And this bedroom is pretty much empty. If you're not comping every mop refill that you see at the thrift store or at estate sales, you might be missing out on some money. I make pretty good money almost every single month selling mop refills. Some of them can sell for upwards of $30 for one, so definitely check those out if you see them. So I ended up calling it early, thinking that I was going to spend the next day out at estate sales and thrifting the entire day. But my husband and I decided to drive up to northern Michigan to the Tunnel of Trees, and it ended up being like a 13-hour road trip in total. This was not a sourcing trip at all, but my husband seen this resale shop, so we did a really quick U-turn just to check it out and see if we could find any treasures. And no, my husband is not a reseller, and he does not help me with my reselling business other than funding it every now and then, but he's always more than happy to stop so that I can check out places that I've never been before. Now, this resale shop was overpriced. It was, I'd say, higher than eBay prices for most items, especially considering we are in a town of probably population less than 1,000 people right now.
Well, don't worry, we got our eye out.
Yeah. And I know it's bad when my husband starts complaining about prices. He's the type to not be a bargain shopper, just pay full price, get what you want, get it over with. So if he thinks the prices are ridiculous, then I know it's not just me. And my husband and I have an unhealthy relationship with TJ Maxx. We are addicted. We're always stopping every single TJ Maxx we see. Whenever we go out of town, we're looking to see if they have a TJ Maxx. And I picked up 2 of these fry blankets because I was afraid 3 would not fit inside the car, and it's a good thing that I only picked up those 2 because I was right. Only 2 fit inside the car. Brand new blankets always sell really well for me during Christmas, so I'm hoping to get around 100 for those. We pulled off right before Charlevoix. This is just a roadside park on the side of the road, and this is Lake Michigan. This is how clear the water is. It's absolutely beautiful. But unfortunately, it's only 44 degrees outside, so it is very, very cold. And we're still a couple hours away from the tunnel of trees, so I hop back in the car and we keep heading north.
There's another one, baby. There's another one.
This is like our 5th time stopping to let deer cross the road. Thankfully, we did not hit any. We stopped for one more pull off on the side of the road to get a couple more pictures, and then we hit the road, and we don't get back home until almost 10 o'clock that night. And we left at 7:30 in the morning. I was so tired, but I went thrifting the next day. These posture pumps are always a pickup for me. These usually sell within the first 4 weeks. This one is only $3.99. It says sold as is. But when I got it home, I opened it up, put it together. All the pieces are there, so I'm not too sure why they wrote that, but I got it really cheap. Usually, I pay around $6 to $8 for these. These handkerchiefs, I picked these up for my grandpa. He uses these all the time. I honestly probably should have grabbed him more than 1 pack. Out of nowhere, my Goodwill started doing the half off color again during the week, and the half off color this week is pink. So for 50 cents, I picked this up for personal use. I have struggles with facial sunscreen, so I'm always looking for something that is not going to burn my eyes and irritate my skin. This chapstick is also for me because I lose mine all the time. I picked this one up for $2.99 to resell, and it is full. Now, I had not looked these up yet, but I do look them up. There's some listed, none have sold, and I go ahead and put that one back. When it starts to get cold out, this is kind of how thrifting is for me. It's really hit or miss, and this time of year is usually when I start heading back to the Goodwill bins. It's about a 45-minute drive, but I go on a regular basis once it starts to get cold out. Donations, I notice, drop in the winter other than when it's close to the beginning of the year and people need that tax write-off. And estate sales don't completely stop, but they definitely dwindle down, and sometimes I'm lucky if there's 4 in a month in my area. So within the next month, I'd say you guys will start seeing a lot of content from the Goodwill bins from me. I thought for sure this Ralph Lauren bag would be something, but I look it up and some people have this listed for $20. Poshmark, it's definitely higher, but I don't sell too much on Poshmark, and I don't want to grab something that I have to compete with super low prices, so I go ahead and leave that bag behind. I used to have about 100 shoes in my eBay inventory, and I started slowly selling them off, and I decided I did not want to sell shoes anymore, but I will pick up boots and certain things, especially this time of year. Now, these Doc Martens are priced at $14.99, and I'm gonna look them up. Now, in my mind, I already know that these are probably only selling for about $30, and which is about the going rate for these. So I put them in my cart, but once I look them up, I do put those back. Now, I do find these Uggs, but resale on Uggs is not that great, especially when they're worn. These aren't super, super worn, but they're worn enough where I'd be lucky to get $20 for those. I head over to Volunteers of America, and they have the music so loud, it sounds like a concert inside of here. Well, that looks like an old Herbal Essence. Oops. Don't see a date. Made in the U.S. It's small though. I'll check it out still. I have never seen this before, so we're gonna put those in. That is Trendmaster. That's vintage, $4.99. I'll show you guys a better shot of it in a minute. Fresh Guard is always a yes. How many are in there too? Yep, enough to make money. I forget what the colors are though. I want to say red, blue, green. We always look up Olay. But I can't remember, so I'm gonna probably have to walk back up to the front to double check. for your pets? Oh yeah. My dog would never. You wouldn't see her for 3 days as soon as you turn that thing on. Superstar, Oral-B Kids. Oh no, 2023. Okay, no, that's a no. I've looked those up at a different thrift store. They were a no. I like these for myself if they have the clips, but I don't think they do. $7 for an InStyler. Okay, we're gonna grab it, but I don't know. This is going to go in my research area. $6. We'll check this out too. Okay, I'm gonna scan this really quick. After scanning everything, this is all that's left in my cart, and I'm kind of on the fence on this Trendmaster piece, and I do end up purchasing it, but I think it was like a desperation buy. This was a really bad week outsourcing, and like I said, I'm on the fence. It's super close to Halloween. These are only selling for like $25. Normally I would not pick them up, but I do end up picking up that InStyler, which is a little overpriced, but that is quick money. Those always sell really fast for me. I'll probably get closer to $30 for that. And then I head over to one more store before heading home. This Weight Watchers point calculator was only priced at $1.99. It was brand new. These usually sell pretty quickly for me, especially with New Year's coming up. People are always trying to lose weight, so I figure that one will definitely sell. Purple is the half off color, and I noticed this little respirate machine back here has a purple tag. It's priced at $50. I went ahead and purchased this. I only paid $25. It was not a prescription only item, thankfully. I posted a reel well over a month ago about how you should not buy these in used condition, and I got so many comments from people talking about you need to leave them for older people. 6 weeks later, they're still at the same store. This Rockabye Bear will probably sell for around $30, I'm thinking. And then these ResMed items, these are for my grandpa so that he doesn't have to pay his copay on those. And I'm ready to check out, and I realized I didn't even open this box. So I'm just gonna open it up, make sure the item is in there and in decent condition. Now I do pull it out. It does have a couple of spots, but nothing major. So I went ahead and purchased this, and I pretty much have a full cart today, which did not happen all week for me. Now I do have a couple more items in my cart that I only shared with my Bolo group. They're items that I had shared with them months and months ago. And whenever I share items in a Bolo list or in a Bolo group that people pay for, I don't share them on my YouTube. I have not seen one of these in years. This was a core memory unlocked. I had to push the little button. I find one more item. I pay full price for this. It was $20. I think I have it listed for $70. And now it's time to head home and get this stuff listed. Okay guys, so again, this was not a good week outsourcing at all, but I did have a good week of sales, and then last week was an amazing week of sourcing, and today is Tuesday, and this week has been a really great week. The weekend was absolutely amazing. I've had some great sales. I just checked my numbers, and my sales for this year are up 33% compared to the exact same time last year. I think I can end the year at possibly up 40%. Last year, during the month of November and December, my grandma was very, very sick, so I spent a lot of time at my grandparents' house, and I did not work eBay very much, especially at the end of September, beginning of October. It was absolutely crazy. My grandpa had brain surgery for a brain bleed, and my grandma, again, she was super sick. So I did not work very much from, I'd say like the middle of October until the end of the year. But I did have that really good find at that Cologne estate sale. So even though I wasn't working a lot, I was still having a ton of amazing sales. all through the fourth quarter. I was selling all of that perfume and all of those discontinued items. So I'm sure my numbers are still pretty high. Actually, you know what? I'm going to pull up my 1099. I'm going to see what I did in November and December last year. I am out running mom errands right now, waiting for children. So I had my daughter grab my computer because I could not pull my 1099 up on my phone. So in December, well, during the month of December, I did 13% of my sales last year. And then fourth quarter was 32% of my sales. And I feel like I should be able to beat that number no problem this year for the fourth quarter because my October sales almost matched my December sales. I still have a couple of days left in the month and I think I can pull it out. I have found some really great items. I have found a couple new places to source items. I just checked my second eBay account and I really didn't do too much over there last year. I sold less than $4,000 on that account and I know I have sold more than that on that account this year. So my numbers are definitely up, probably more than what I think they are if I were to combine the two accounts. I check my sales reports pretty often just to compare and see how I'm doing month to month. And what you do is just get on your computer, go to my eBay selling, and then where it shows your numbers, they'll have like a little graph of everything that you have sold. And then underneath that, you can click any of those numbers that they show right there. And then you can edit it. You can do like a custom timeline. You can go to what you sold this year, last year, this month, this quarter. And I always like to keep an eye on my numbers and see how I'm doing. Just dropped my daughter off at physical therapy and I'm gonna run to 2 thrift stores, hopefully, in the hour that she is in there and then get her back to school. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate all of you and I will see you on my next video in a couple of days.